are going to talk about Berryessa and Clear Lake. And it just dawned on me I didn't set up the audio. Ready to talk?
Yeah.
Ready to go.
All right. Well, we just fished Clear Lake last weekend. Clear Lake actually has a lot of water in it right now, as most of you guys already know. They did put a ordinance on the lake, so if you launched and you had to idle a quarter of a mile out before you could run, and you had to stay out a quarter of a mile running from all shorelines. Realistically, that's protecting all the people that live there, right? Like the water is a foot over regular height, right? Rumsey. But I tell you what, it opens up a lot of stuff to fish, right? Like different areas that you can go into more than in years past that we have not had in a long time, right? But be careful. The sheriff is driving around out there. I did see him light up a boat, but the boat was running in on pad under that quarter of a mile. For Lawrence owners, you could actually set up distance rings, and if you put your graph to a quarter of a mile, it actually has a ring around the first ring. Every ring around it is a quarter mile if you do a quarter mile on that distance ring. So you could drive around and look at that ring and be like, okay, I'm within a quarter mile, I need to shut down and idle in, right? But any other than that, there is some Rodman stills pushing out some muddy water. There is some muddy water in that area, and kind of going north a little bit, but it does clear up in some areas. Lucerne and Nice has clear water, but down south is clear. I never made it all the way down into Redbud Arm when I was fishing because of that 5 mile an hour. Because if you go through the Narrows, once you go by Shag Rock, thanks, James.
You're welcome.
Once you go by Shag Rock, there's like a path that you can make to get through that. But if you turn and go towards that Redbud Arm through by Anderson Island, it will definitely. You have to go down to 5 miles an hour because it's not more than a quarter of a mile away.
The county has it posted with actual like the lake with the perimeter of what's the no wake zone. And the only time that the two shorelines overlap is in between Anderson and Windflower to go down Redbud. Once you get through that area, you can go back up on pad. And then, of course, down in the Narrows, like the ends of it, where you have the two come together, that's where it is. On here. Water clarity is clearing up fast, though. It's pretty muddy. Can you guys, I don't know, can you guys see, where's comments? You guys are good? Can you hear us? Everything's all good on that? I don't have anything. Can anybody chat? I'm not sure what's going on. I apologize.
They can hear fine.
Oh. Bousy says he can hear us fine. Cool.
Can you see us?
And you can see us. Are we sideways? Are we normal? Is everything good on that one? Fish Beast is back. And John Kurgan.
Hey, buddy.
Sweet. All right. Clear Lake patterns. We'll start with that, and then we'll switch over to Berryessa second. I fished Berryessa on Monday. I fished with my co-angler. We fished his bite. I can only say so much because it's his bite out of respect for him. Basically, I was fishing around where all the boats are. When you go to the water, there's a ton of boats on south end of Main Lake, and that's basically what we were down there rubbing elbows with. Only had one negative interaction out of all of the boats. And do not expect, like, literally people are within 10 foot of you. They don't care, and that's fine. That's just is what it is. So if you go there, just expect that.
Yeah.
My pattern was throwing swim baits around all those boats. Mainly was trash fish, and then other than that was an A-rig. I would love to tell you guys a ton more. It's probably one of the only times I hold stuff back, and that is because it's not my pattern. What did you do? You caught a nice healthy one on Saturday.
So I had a bite that I was going after on Friday. I started picking up fish with a jabberjaw, with the
Square bill, if you guys
square
don't know
bill, right? But with the regurgitated shad, when I was picking a pattern, and as soon as I did that pattern, I picked up a fish and I turned around and get out of that area, and I went to another one, picked up a fish immediately, and I had that pattern going, and I thought, okay, we're gonna get 5 fish. Well, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Friday wasn't really on for us. The only fish we caught out of the entire day on Friday was on crappie. Actually, my personal best crappie.
I caught a lot of crappie
On an underspin. Other than that, bass-wise, for us, we didn't catch a single fish besides that.
FYI, the Mega Bass 110 Junior +1, I was throwing threadfin, and they were hammering it. In the north end of the lake, in the south end of the lake, anywhere I went and I saw a crappie, I was pre-fishing. I picked up, and I was catching some crappie. It was a good time.
For the people who tuned in and they're actually wondering about crappie, if you got like Main Lake and then you got your arms that come off of that, if you go to this corner of Main Lake, there's a bunch of like submerged brush or cover or whatever it is. There is a ton of crappie there floating around. You could go there and just have a heyday. If you want to go in there, I did not focus on them at all. I wanted to. I actually went into the box on Sunday to get the crappie stuff out, realizing that I forgot I broke off a crappie jig on Friday screwing around, and wasn't going to take the tournament time to put it back on. But my partner even looked at me. He's like, "Are you serious? You're about to do that?" And I'm like, "I want to catch a fish. It's tough."
Yeah, it was a tough bite this weekend. When you got on, and if you weren't on, you were not on.
Yeah, I only had 4 fish both days. No, we did not have, or I shouldn't say me and my partner, we only had 4 keepers, but they were good keepers when you did get them.
Yes.
How'd your Saturday go?
So I went into that pattern that I had on Friday. It did not work. I scrambled around, and then I went to an area where I've caught fish in February before, and started working the docks, throwing A-rig, and nothing was happening yet. And then, boom, I caught a fish, put it in the box. While my partner was still messing with that, I hooked another fish, and I thought, this is it. I got it. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, that was pretty much it for my Saturday. But the one good fish was a 669. I just tell you that with the 2 fish, I had 1120 for 2 fish. And it paid me big fish for the weekend, or for the day, and 3rd place that day.
And with that said, for the weekend, there was only one limit in our club on Saturday with 16 boats.
Yeah.
And there was one limit on Sunday with 9
boats.
9 boats. It was tough. Definitely was tough. We were staying at Skylark, and we ran into some other guys who were pre-fishing, and we asked them, "Hey, how'd you guys do?" And these guys are in wrapped boats, and they were definitely not happy.
No.
So you could tell that I think they knew the pattern, but they wished it was a bigger pattern. Is
Yeah.
what I think it is. And
Yeah,
they actually to find out that one of our guys had 20 pounds. First place on Saturday was 20 pounds with a 5.5 or something like that, and he had 20 pounds. So he
Yeah.
had solid fish. He said he only had 6 keepers for the whole day, and that was with a rig.
Yeah.
So
I caught
basically the biggest bite that we're finding, or was last weekend, was a rig.
Yeah, both fish came on an A rig. I couldn't tell you what color. I know that I had threadfin on there, ghost rainbow. Yeah, and my threadfin trailers on the top. Those were the colors. I unhooked it so fast that I was thinking that I was onto something because you figure, and it was a late blast off.
Yeah, we didn't blast off till 8.
So it was almost 10:45 before I caught the first fish. And so I was kind of excited at that point in time, that thinking within 10 minutes, I put 2 solid fish in the boat. This is going to be a thing. So I didn't really pay attention to which one it bit, but
yeah, Saturday I caught all 4, or we caught all 4 fish. I caught 2, my partner caught 2 from the same location, same spot. And we didn't get bit till like 9, and our 4th one was at 10:43. And I thought, cool, we got our weigh-in wasn't until 4. We got plenty of time to catch one more keeper, and we never got that last keeper. And then Sunday, we didn't have a fish until like after 1 o'clock. This is the one I can talk about 100%. South end of Main Lake, there's a housing complex off of there, and then on the left-hand side, there's a big giant white gazebo. Sure, you guys know where that's at. That point in between the houses and that gazebo, I was throwing an A-rig on the outside tule line, and picked up one of our first keeper of Sunday right there on an A-rig, and it creamed it, like smashed it.
Yeah.
And usually when they smash it, that means it's on. And then I did the same thing. I had multiple colors on my A-rig, and I peeled them off so fast.
That's strange for you.
Yeah, not normal for me. If you know, I usually run same colors or very little mismatch. I peeled that off. I don't even know which color it was that it hit. I can tell you it was rainbow shad, bluegill flash, threadfin, and I think ghost rainbow was on there. The only 3 that had hooks was bluegill flash, rainbow shad, and threadfin. I think it was bluegill flash, but I'm not 100%.
I will tell you though, in the 4x video that we did, I talked about that pole to retrieve lures. That saved me a ton of money this weekend because the bite that I had with the A-rig was dang near dragging it on the bottom. And me and my partner, if you weren't hanging up, you weren't fishing in the right areas. But we did not lose one A-rig on Saturday from that pole. It saved, it's like $50 pole, and it saved a ton of money.
I saved my own A-rig this weekend, and I saved my partner's LV a couple of times. So like right there, that rod paid for itself in one weekend.
Yeah, 100%. 2 A-rigs pretty much pays for it, right?
Sunday, like I said, we only had one fish until 1 o'clock, and then we got into a fury of fish right at the end of the day. 20 minutes left. We caught 3 fish in 8.5 minutes when I looked through the footage that I did get. And a lot of why I'm not doing a regular video right now is because I didn't get very much footage. I had some camera issues. So I had some bad angles, stuff like that. Like I could see the fish catches, but it's hard to explain. Like the stuff was blurry, basically. So that's why we're doing a live instead of like the normal video where we talk over it. And then also when you do a normal video, you can't talk about Berryessa. So Sunday, Did you guys catch anything on Sunday?
No, I had a couple bites, but nothing really committed. And we did some running. We went down to the Rattlesnake Arm. There was fish there. The only thing I could get them to even react at all on was a jerk bait, and they just rose on it. They never committed on it.
Yeah, rock was like rock areas, humps, points.
Right.
The rock seemed to matter a lot in the not
Rattlesnake.
redbud, rattlesnake area.
Yeah.
You wanted to find rock, basically.
And I went down there and we gave it a lot. There was fish there. We could see them. They're in the right spot on top of humps, right? Like when you see that kind of stuff, you're like, this is it. This should go. I threw everything. I threw A-rigs. I threw underspin. I threw LV on it. I threw jerk bait. I tried everything that I could think of. And
Friday we ran into rattlesnake and we didn't get anything to go in rattlesnake. And same thing. They'd stare at it, look at it, follow it for a little bit, but they wouldn't follow it more than 10 feet. They stayed back off of it. Deep followed it. Like you'd be up. Oh, that was the other thing is there's a ton of fish in the Thule berms, basically.
Yeah.
Like as you're going along, if there's broke off Thules underwater where you can't see because the water's so high, there's fish in those berms and there's fish on that outer edge. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're bass. I feel like a lot of them are crappie.
Yeah.
And then if you go to certain areas, you'll see a band of fish on like the south end of Main Lake. You'll see a band of fish in like 10 to 12 foot. I think a lot of them are crappie or not crappie. Sorry, bass or carp or not bass. Dang it,
Catfish.
catfish or carp. I'm not necessarily sure that I'm sure there's bass mixed in there, but I threw at them. I couldn't get them to go.
At one point in time on Sunday, there was no wind. It was super hot. The water was clear. I even pulled out a guide bait and tried to pull it over the top of that just sunken Thules, thinking there's a pinch point on either side, right? Like if it's coming through.
Yeah.
I tried basically everything that I could think of. I even tried that jabberjaw again.
Does anybody out there have questions for Clear Lake before we get to it? With Clear Lake levels higher than normal, were fish shallow or deep? All of our fish were under 8 foot.
Yes.
That I caught. One of the guys that caught a limit on Sunday, or the team that caught a limit on Sunday, they were throwing a jig rig. I have a feeling they were deep.
Yeah. They said 30 foot of water.
Yeah, 30 foot of water, and all of my fish were, I'd say 8 foot or less.
Yeah.
And that's, 8 foot or less, because that entire bay down there is only 8 foot.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for Clear Lake. The quickness that place cleared up mud wise astonished me. Like it was almost, I don't want to say soup, but it was pretty muddy at Rodman. And when I went there on Sunday, it was fishable water. Like it settled down quickly.
Yeah, it is.
What are the temps on the lake with all the fresh rainwater? 50s, low 50s? I saw up to 55 degrees.
Yes.
In some of the places, but the average was like low 50s. I did see like 49 in some areas. Kind of depend on where you are. It changed a lot. I was actually surprised. Rodman, it's not really Rodman. It's like east side of Rodman. There's some docks along that I think it's Nice.
Yeah.
It was 55 in there in the afternoon. So like super warm water.
Yeah. I saw the same running around, even going in Rattlesnake. It was in that range of 49 to 55.
If it stays 55, each warm day, I feel like that north end, once it finally hits that right temperature, all those fish that we're seeing, There was a ton of fish in those docks on the right-hand side. I think a lot of them were crappie. But there was definitely bass in there. I was getting hit on A-rig through there and underspin on there. They just wouldn't commit. That's basically the theory of the weekend, or the theme of the weekend is they just wouldn't commit.
Yeah.
It
It was a tough bite.
was not fun. Rolling onto Berryessa. Oh, wait, hold on. One more. All temperature carriers read a little bit different. We had 58 to 59 late in the afternoon, Lakeport area. I have Lawrence, for those who want to know. That makes it a little bit different. Getz just jumped on, says, hi, buddy. Hi, Getsy. I run Lawrence. So for those of you who actually know the difference between temperatures of what's what, that's that. Did anybody in the club do any good on swim baits? Our fish were trash fish. One of the other persons that was in there that did decent on Sunday, Eric, he had a trash fish bite also.
A-rigs is a swim
I
bait.
think the biggest
fish.
was basically A-rigs.
Yeah.
Was the overall theme. And then just trash fish if you can get around them, the right areas, that is.
Yep.
Berryessa, I ran up to Berryessa. There is a ton of fish in all of the sticks in 15 foot of water, and all the old shrubbery in 15 foot of water, anywhere you can find 15 foot of water with shrubbery. They were non-committal, just like Clear Lake. I think it's just something in the weather. It's the only thing I could think of.
There was a full moon this weekend too.
There was
it
a
was
full
full moon
moon
on
Friday night.
Friday night into Saturday.
So usually you have a couple pocket day windows where they're a little off on both sides.
Yep.
If you believe in that stuff. I did catch a 5 or a 498 on a Rapala scale, which usually wears a hair light. I did catch a 5 on a drop shot, dragging while screwing around with my electronics. I just did a bunch of updates and it changed some settings, and I literally was dragging a Sorry Steve off the side of the boat, and all of a sudden I see it moving, and it was a 5. It was in the right area. There's a reason why I was there. It was kind of in the gut of an inlet creek arm, in 25 to 30 foot of water, dragging that drop shot. Looked around in there, forward scan. I didn't see any other fish. I bet they're there. With how slow I was dragging, they were probably there. I did screw around a little bit in that area, but kind of left them, moved to another area, found shrubbery in that 15 foot. There's a ton of them. All they would do was short strike an A-rig or an underspin. They wouldn't get into it as hard. Get says Moonface screwed it up. Yeah, I think that's what's going on in that window. Berryessa was pretty clear, actually. I did not run up any of the creek arms, but it actually was pretty clear. I was thinking with all the water, they're almost at full pull. I think they're a little short. I haven't checked recently. Last I knew it was like 4 foot, 3 foot, something like that. I think the storm needed to happen, or I would think we need a storm at this point to get continue. Those fish to fire. But there's a ton of them there.
Great news
for
is,
sure.
Here in California, tomorrow is the start of the storm, and it's going to go through all weekend. I think the last time I checked, Lakeport was supposed to get an inch of snow on Saturday in Lakeport.
Yeah, it's the temperature this weekend is supposed to be pretty cold.
Yeah.
Or I don't think we've had really a cold storm this year.
No.
Most of our storms have been on the warm side. I do think that these fish are going to move up on beds earlier this year than last year, or at least move to the shallows earlier. And that's kind of general everywhere.
Right.
This weekend, I'm not sure what we're doing this weekend.
We're fixing a boat.
We're fixing a boat trailer at Clear Lake. I'm not sure if we're going to fish Clear Lake, though. Not 100% sure. New Gen?
I think
New
it's
Gen's there
Gen.
both days. So I don't really want to bump boats with people.
Especially if they're fishing a tournament and we're not.
Yeah, they're in a tournament. We're not. I'm not gonna jump their water basically, or beat their fish up. We're
Yeah.
trying. If we do, it'll be like an afternoon thing.
Yeah.
If we do go. Anybody have questions? On topic, off topic, doesn't matter.
Great news though, to know about the speed limit, the ordinance that they have for the quarter mile. I checked the lake today. It's at 8.05, so it's still over that 8-foot mark, so it's still in effect. But with this storm coming in, it's probably gonna go right back up. When we were there, it was at 8.44, and it was staying at 8.44 with no rain. So those creeks were still flowing, still coming in. It has been going down, but after tomorrow and then upcoming days, I think it's going to go right back up.
Yeah. How are those tacos? Which tacos?
The tacos you had for lunch today, guy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I got delivered tacos by Brian Stacy today. They were really good tacos.
He didn't deliver tacos to me.
Well, that's because you don't work with him or work near him.
True.
Yeah. Tacos were good. Ate all 3 of them, and they were pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm not a fan of avocados. Ate them with the avocados. They were still good.
Yeah. Where would you guys like us to fish?
We have. It's actually going to be a little bit before we can actually fish outside of tournaments. Between my on-call schedule, I'm on call every 5 weeks. Between our regular tournaments and that, and then shooting another 4-hour video, that's pretty much where we're at with that.
Yeah.
Think we might wrap this up.
Yep.
Keep it in a half hour. If you guys have any questions, you won't be able to see the comments from this, but you can comment down below of the video when this reposts. I will answer as many of those questions as I can. If you guys want to ask me direct questions, you can always hit me up on Instagram. And if there's anything else, Brian Sweeney asked where are we fishing next week. Possibly Clear Lake, maybe Berryessa on Sunday. Wind is a factor, just like Brian Stacy said. Wind's supposed to be 10 to 20. Clear Lake rule of thumb, whatever they say, double it.
Yeah.
If they say 10, it's probably 20. If they say 30, it ain't worth going because it's probably almost hurricane weather.
Yeah. That lake gets big real quick.
Yeah, we might hit Berryessa. I'm waiting for Delta to kick back in. Folsom, we want to run on a Saturday just because of the traffic home. We live in that Fairfield-Vacaville area. The traffic coming home on Sunday is not fun from Folsom.
Yeah.
I have never fished Folsom, and I don't think you've fished Folsom, right?
Mm-mm.
But yeah, Fishing with Camel Joe jumped on. Go back to earlier for Camel Joe. Go back to earlier. Talk about crappie on there. What areas there are that are different from my previous crappie videos.
Yeah.
And Mom and 4 Kids 1 says Berryessa is 3 feet from the top.
That's great.
So
that means the east side's
there is a lot of
gonna have some trees.
There's a lot of things on that east side that I like to play with this time of the year, and that
especially with that much water.
That's all in play. It's all like 15 feet deep now.
Yeah.
So, if you guys want to rewatch this, it will post up on my YouTube here soon. It has to go through like a process thing, and then you can go back and check it all out. March tourney. Our next tournament is Clear Lake March, and that should be awesome. that should really be a good time. And I just missed a chat. What was it?
Bank beater.
Bank beater here. Yeah, me too. I'm okay with looking at them on forward scan, but I really prefer to power fish up shallow. So
Yep.
April, Sweeney says April 7th through 12th. Yeah, I agree. April 7th through 12th, always good.
You're not going to be there, guy. You're going to be in Utah. Brian Sweeney.
Oh.
He's going to be in Utah.
Yeah, hey. I always say when I'm on call, that's when all the bite is. So one day I should just release my on-call schedule so everybody knows where to fish. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for tagging along. Again, comments, hit the like. We should be good to go.
Somebody has almost fallen off your boat before. I got that message.
Yeah.
He wanted to ask the question.
Nobody's actually fallen off. It's a short on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just scroll to the one that has the most views. It's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost fell off.
He saved himself.
I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah, because it was cold.
It was really, really cold. I'm glad he didn't. But one day, I have enough cameras rolling. One day,
Somebody's got it.
Someone will go mermaid on me, and I can post it.
Yeah.
So, shore fishing. Oh, you're a shore fisherman now. You got gas money. I almost forgot. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to me. I cracked over 1,000 subscribers in the last week. And I have debated doing some sort of thing to give away like a hat, basically, to a couple of people. I haven't come up with something, but I'm going to come up with something and probably post that out. So that's it for tonight. Until next time, I hope you get them.